make sure we're connected and good. And there you go. What I normally do is I hide that image because it's right here.
What image?
That one.
Okay.
And I put it right here.
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever you want, obviously, but
Yes, I can.
that's right.
Women's liberation.
Women's lib. I'm going to take this and pop this over here.
Poppity pop.
And then this, I'm just going to shrink for now because you don't need it, right?
Shrink it.
So that you have YouTube chats if anybody shows up.
Okay.
And then you can see Ashley, right? TikTok chats. Obviously, you can do that here too.
Oh,
Right in
cool.
front of you, this is what the YouTube is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
This is, the mic is active for YouTube.
Sweet.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, baby.
When you're done, you do have to end stream on YouTube
Okay.
as well as what you do here.
Okay. I texted you what we needed earlier. Do we have strawberries?
They did not have organic.
Okay, no worries. Apples, sweet potatoes, 2 of the thingies, and then I can't remember what else I said. Oh, eggs. Hi guys. I'm gonna get my scooter. Here we go. All right, Logan's about to take the family out to the grocery. It's gonna get crazy today, you guys. Oh my god. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about our symptoms. Let's talk about what's ailing us. What? Oh my god. You're the best. Like the green guy. Is that what you were doing over there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you do a little bit of undulation for us before you leave? Oh, that's for me. Okay. Okay. He's popping the booty. He's popping the booty. That's like the most healing thing you could look at. Love you. All right, family. What's up? Hey, hey, hey. So let's talk about symptoms. Let's talk about it. Within my healing system, tarot and understanding the energies in a more simplified way so that you can apply it in a practical way. That's what it's all about, babies. That's what it's all about. Does anybody have any pain today or any struggle? Vani, I'm so glad you're here, Queen. I've been meaning to message you because I know if you're okay talking about it right now, we can dive in a little bit if you want to, my darling. Or we can speak privately, whatever you want to do. I am doing great. I love my energy. Thank you. I had a bit of a pep talk from my husband because I was getting a little, yes, no stress. Okay. So yes, you want to talk now or you want to talk in circle? Whatever you want to do. We can talk about your autoimmune and we can talk about the powers that be because I need to be careful what words I use. Not knowing what to do about you. And if you'd like, you can come on and we can talk about it. And we can flesh it out. Are you able to join? Let's see. How many? You should be able to. We'll have to see. If you want to, you can come on and we can talk about it. But let's just look at the energies around what's going on with you and your health. And remember that health is simply an expression of what's going on internally, what's going on with your emotions, because your emotional state creates your cellular state. Great Spirit, let's look at Vani's energy. Let's look at the Vani's energy, the Queen. What's going on with her health, Great Spirit? What is the deal? Hi, gorgeous. Okay. So, Vani, my darling, let's talk about your mother. Let's talk about your relationship with your mother and where you learned to nurture yourself, or if you ever actually did. Were you allowed to nurture yourself, to care for yourself, or do you feel like you have to present value by caring for others first? Let's go there. Let's get there. Let's make it happen. And remember, we all love you and we've all got our wounds. We've all got our stuff. But the crux of this work that we're doing, it's all about understanding the patterns, the roots of where our healing journey begins, because that's where the dissension, the dissonance in the field starts. Yes. Okay. I mean, I see it. Let me scooch it in here so we can see better. Oh, and you know what? Logan moved my favorite. Where's my best friend? Besides my husband. But I can't remember what he did in here. I was showing him how to do the honey jar spell a while ago. And he was like, can we move some of this stuff? But this is my friend. This is my little skull friend. There we go. That makes mommy happier. Okay. This is my petrified wood. And no, I wasn't talking about my husband. Okay. So, Vani, my love, when we're talking about the mother wound, we're talking about the understanding of feeling like a burden will actually create dissonance in your energetic field. We don't have necessarily a wellness epidemic. We have an identity epidemic, and we have an epidemic of frequency. So my mom is not well. She has a mental illness. Okay. So you've kind of taken it upon yourself at an early age to be the mother, even your own, correct? Can you join? Let me know if you can join. Great Spirit, let's look at your sister. Okay. The mother to your sister. Yeah, talk to us, baby, because we can get to roots a lot easier if we can talk to you. We're hitting something, but I'm not answering. Oh, wait, try again. So sorry. Let's try again. Let's try again, my queen. Send it. And, or can I request you? Hey. I love it. Yay. Okay. You know what? Sometimes I have my moments of like, it's not working. I don't know what's happening. You're like, I'm trying right now. Right. We're all special. But we're seeing the Tower right now, so we're really getting to some roots. When you first started taking care of your sister, did it ever...
No, I didn't take care of her.
She took care of you. Okay. So you never really had a mother, though. You had a sister who... Was she also kind of not the most nurturing person?
Well, with my sister, how can I explain? She's more of the she sees to what's necessary.
Okay. Yeah. I see that energy. I see it like she addressed your needs on a like roof over your head, food in your stomach, bed to sleep on kind of thing. But when it came to your emotional needs or understanding that you were loved, appreciated, safe, that wasn't something that she also didn't know how to communicate those things.
Exactly, because my sister's only 2 years older than me.
That makes sense.
So she was the one that took care of me most of the time. Like whenever my mom got sick.
Yeah.
When I say sick, whenever she had like a mental breakdown, then my sister would take on the role. Not really me. I would do the like cleaning and stuff like that, but that was only after I got a little bit older.
But you weren't even that old.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
Yeah, what were you, like 12?
Pardon? So maybe around about, you could say 12, 13, I started doing stuff. You're good, girl.
I am. I'll say it, sure. But it's also like the pattern when people experience autoimmune specifically, it usually comes from, I mean, modern powers that be can't actually understand what's going on with you, especially for women, because it's an energetic tie. And I'm seeing it as the mother wound manifesting as dissonance in your energetic field, not giving yourself permission to exist, feeling like a burden most of your life, denying your own needs, and that manifests as dis-ease. Let's talk about your symptoms. What is going on with, what do you experience? Because autoimmune can mean a multitude of things. Some people are like, oh, I have itchy skin or my stomach or this or this. What are your symptoms?
Strangely enough, I haven't had the itchy skin up until recently.
Ooh.
So the rashes and stuff have been popping up, and it's been on my face. So I've been a little bit annoyed by it.
Interesting.
And, yeah, I'm very itchy of recent.
I feel my chin is itching, and that's why I said that. Is it your chin?
Yeah.
Okay, it literally itches right now, so that makes sense. So when did that start? What was the emotional catalyst around that?
I don't even know. It was like, okay, I have a heart condition as well. I was born with a heart condition. So I've just always been not well. So like, I don't know how to identify when it's more not well than
usual. It makes sense that, of course, you would have a heart problem, because if we were to, do you know anything about your mother's pregnancy, or did your father leave during your mother's pregnancy?
My mother and father's relationship was very up and down. So yeah, and she lived like we Indian. So in our family, you're supposed to stay with the in-laws. So she did.
Okay. And
so they weren't very nice to her.
And do you know when her mental illness or imbalance started to manifest? Was that after she had you or your sister?
It was after she had her last child. The child was stillborn, and then after that she went into kind of like a depression.
So your mother's not mentally ill. She just has a fractured soul, and no one knows how to heal her. Yeah. And she probably punishes herself as a result. A lot of women who experience loss, I mean, it's against nature to lose your baby. So that's intense stuff. Is there a part of you that in some warped way has guilt around that? Or shame?
I have guilt around that. However, I do feel that had I not been such a huge drama for everyone to deal with, maybe they could have seen to other things.
So that's literally taking blame. That's literally taking blame. I know. I know you're like, I mean, I don't blame myself, but I just feel like was my fault, you know? So yes, you blame yourself, bitch, which I get it, because out of survival, we're causing ourselves problems and self-flagellating, you know? It's we're punishing ourselves because we're blaming ourselves, rather than going from a logical place or even from a spiritually logical place and being like, I have no control over whether or not a baby lives or dies. It wasn't my womb, you know? And I feel like that's also part of it, where you take on other people's wounds, other people's pain in sort of a self-abusive kind of way, because it's tethered to this idea that there's something wrong with you, that there's, you know, you did something and you're being punished. And therefore, when the world stops punishing you, you have to punish yourself. Does that sound true?
I think that you're probably right, but that I'm in a lot of denial.
Well, I mean, and it makes sense, because we're talking about patterns that are unconscious or subconscious from a state of survival. It's not logical. You know, there are things that I have believed and have to unlearn that make no fucking sense. You know, I struggle with feeling like I should have been able to save my sister, but I didn't know what I know now. So it's like the future me should have been able to project wisdom into the past and been able to save her. It makes no sense. But yeah, I struggle with taking blame and feeling more comfortable taking blame. And I think that's also because once a pattern is established, it's more comfortable and familiar. You know, it's more familiar for you to punish yourself. It's uncomfortable for you to be happy. It's uncomfortable for you to be like, I mean, I'm a good person. I never did anything wrong to anyone. I was just a baby, you know?
I know it doesn't make sense, but like on some level, because like I had to go for a heart operation when I was like 5 years old. So my mom had to like endure that, and my dad.
Baby girl, pause. Pause. Did you just hear yourself?
What?
I love you. So this is exactly what you just said. I had heart surgery when I was 5 years old. And the next thing you said was my mother and father had to endure that. Burden. They wouldn't have had to handle it. You were the one who had the surgery. You were the one going through all of this. And yeah, I mean, it's not easy on parents when their kids are sick or imbalanced, but it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of you or any lack of your worth or anything that you should have done as a 5-year-old. You know, what's the supposed heart condition that they gave you, diagnosed you with?
I had a hole in my heart, and I went and repaired it at 5. And then when I was about 14 or 13, I had to go for another heart operation, and then they had to repair my valve.
What's
And
interesting
then
is
when I was
we're
about 16, they had to do another operation to repair the valve on the opposite side of my heart. So yeah.
and what we're seeing, I mean,
Very, very focused on me.
well, let's be real here. In order to get attention, you probably had to get sick. In order to get the validation that they cared, you probably had to get sick. And that hole in your heart is a result of some aspect of your mother. I mean, unfortunately, the greatest wounds that we inherit come from the mother because our nervous system develops in the womb from age 0, the moment of conception. The first organ that forms is the heart. So it is your relationship to love, your language of love, which is learned from the mother, and simultaneously your nervous system. So your vibe, your energetic tie to feeling whether or not it's safe to exist. And if it was a stressful environment, if mom was depressed, if there was abuse in the environment, then the heart can't develop properly. You don't feel safe to even vibe. Because, you know, a mother's job is to protect and nourish, but simultaneously to be protected and nourished. And there are so many moms. And like when I was pregnant with both my girls, my skin is itching. When I was pregnant with both my girls, like I had this app that I could chart, you know, what week it was, and oh, she's the size of a melon or she's the size of a little pea. And there were women who would chat and they were like, my boyfriend, my husband, my partner, they don't care. I feel so alone. And I was like, oh my God, it's awful. It's awful because simultaneously we have to soften as a mother. Everything requires us to soften. Your blood doubles, you know, you're expanding. So you have to soften, you have to open, and you have to release. And it's almost impossible to even handle that kind of pain and struggle within our own hearts when we have no support system, and if we're not our own support system. It's no wonder that people after pregnancy specifically go into severe depression, go into who the hell am I, because we're mourning who we were before we had that child. And in many cases, instead of understanding that that child is an awakening and you're supposed to transform as a result of that child being your best teacher who chose you to help them level up and you level up simultaneously, then we have women who turn on the idea of motherhood and blame the child. So was there verbal abuse as a result?
What do you mean?
Like growing up, were you ever verbally abused?
No, not me. I was very pampered. I can't pay the abuse card.
Okay, so where did the abuse just came from you?
It seems like it.
Interesting.
because like even like my 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 sister and my brother, they both took care of me. So like I never had my own friends. I had my sister's friends and my brother's friends.
Hmm. And what was your relationship with your mother and your father like?
I was a very clingy child.
Rightly so. You're constantly wanting to know that it's safe for you to exist. With a hole in your heart, that makes sense. And would they validate you? Would they support you? Were they lovey-dovey, or was it just
When I was a kid, my dad was very protective of me
mm-hmm.
and my mom as well. So I can't really say that they were bad to me. I think it was more that I was very unwell and they just didn't know how to handle it.
When you say they were very protective, does that mean they were a little neurotic, a little overprotective, a little sheltering?
I wasn't allowed to have a life outside of them.
Okay. There's the abuse, baby. Oh, okay. There's the judgment. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So abuse doesn't necessarily mean you're verbally abused like I was or other people. Abuse can be inadvertent. Everybody has Chiron. And in your case, it was this idea of you couldn't be independent because it wasn't safe for you. You couldn't chart your own course because you were so vulnerable or weak. I feel like you heard that a lot, that you're just too weak. Yeah, that imprints on your awareness of self. So you're literally, your parents didn't know, most people don't know, that you have to be very careful what you say to a child because they'll be like, oh, I'm weak. I can't do that because I'm weak. Da, da, da. And so you are going to continue.
Like all the grown-ups would freak out if they heard that I was playing outside with the other kids. They would freak out.
Baby girl, that's abuse. That's isolation. That's hard on a child. I mean, it's not getting hit. It's not verbal abuse, but they're not trying to be manipulative. They're overcorrecting because they're afraid. And fear is the worst energy for a child to be covered in because all they know is, okay, in order to survive, I have to do whatever they say. So it's not safe for me to have friends. It's not safe for me to do anything. It's best if I just stay inside and stay safe. So how often do you leave your house now?
Well, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and they
Okay.
only allowed me to do that because my spiritual mom at the time was a nurse.
Okay.
And my spiritual dad at the time was very, he did CPR courses.
Uh-oh, you still there?
And study with them, could study with them, and I could do whatever it is that I needed to do with them.
But I'm sorry, you said something about your spiritual father and then you cut out.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I said that he studied like CPR and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was allowed to be with them because they could take care of me. So,
Okay.
I could go. I progressed very, very fast with them. Like I became a minister before I was like 24.
Wow. Okay. Well, if that's all you ever did, then that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still, I mean, if it made you happy, that's what matters. But how often do you get out now?
Now, I hardly get out because the only time that I leave the house is to go to hospital, and I've been going to hospital every 3 days or every week.
Wow. Okay.
So I think also my family is a little bit stressed to let me go out because.
Do you live with them still?
Yeah, no, we live together, all of us.
Okay. So, what's the worst thing that could happen if you go out by yourself? Have you ever experienced like passing out or ending up in the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
I fall a lot.
you
And,
fall a lot. Okay.
So the last major fall that I had, I injured my leg and I was unable to walk for like 3 months.
So what happened just before you injured yourself? What was the catalyst to get you out of the house and then you injured yourself?
I'm not even sure. I can't even remember. I just went to have a shower. I was
Okay.
talking to my cousin, and then I went to have a shower. And then in the shower, I was like, pow, I had a blackout. And then when I woke up, I was all broken up.
What did you talk to your cousin about?
Well, she also has autoimmune disease.
Of course.
So we were comparing notes, medications. We were comparing medications.
Okay, so that's something that you might want to look into because it's possible, and you can send me the list of your stuff in Circle and I can look into it because some of the side effects of these things are actually dizziness, weak knees, lack of equilibrium, and so many other things. So it might not even be you. It might be what you're using.
I also think it's the medication. I'm also on that level.
Yep.
Like, I've never experienced this before.
Yep.
This is something very new.
Well, here's the scary thing about autoimmune is, you know, technically growing up, I had autoimmune too. I was diagnosed with psoriasis, and then they said it was eczema, and then they said it was a bunch of other things. They didn't freaking know. But that's really what it means. Autoimmune means they don't know. They know that your immune system is attacking itself. That's all they know. Why would the immune system attack itself? If we're made perfect, where does that start? It doesn't start out of nowhere. It starts from a continuous feeling that you're not safe and that we have to overcompensate. And then the body does. The mind, the belief system, that creates your cellular experience. So the program of the body becomes, we don't know, man. Fuck, just keep going, keep trying, I guess. And it's the overcorrection because the immune system will respond. And we've seen this with military experiments. The immune system will respond to fearful thoughts, images, stress. So simultaneously, the relationship to your family and this idea that you're weak, you will literally experience being weak as a result if you believe that they have any authority over who and what you really are. No one can feel how strong you are. I mean, I can feel how strong you are. You are fucking strong, queen. You are strong, you are powerful, but you've been convinced that something is wrong with you. And therefore you fall into the autoimmune because they don't know what to do. They're trying to manage symptoms. And instead of actually looking at the root, they're not interested in your story. We have to unravel the story. We have to unravel the lies. And you've done so much work in Circle and in your life. I know this, but there's still a strong tether to you being a problem, to you being a burden, even today.
Feel you. Logan said the same thing on my reading.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Well, when you're reading energy,
Because of my Lilith placement, the true Lilith, that I feel that way.
yeah. And Tina's saying get a shower chair, but that's defeating the purpose. That's feeding into the lie. We want to look at the medications. We want to look at the side effects. We want to understand, don't put anything in your body that you don't know exactly what it does. And unfortunately, a lot of clinicians, a lot of people aren't going to tell you, well, just so you know, this is what we're going to give you. And this could be a side effect. Well, it might be a problem because we're dulling senses and we're shutting down the signal to do something, that something needs to be done, not something needs to be shut off. And that creates more problems as a result. So I'm not saying go off everything, but I'm saying that when I work with clients to get off their medications, they always talk to their physicians. It's always in tandem with their physicians. And, we should talk about what you're on. And because I can't recommend plants until unfortunately, pharmacologically speaking, there's too many interactions. Mother Nature and Big Pharma don't mix well together. It's very hard. But there are certain things that you can do. And the most important thing, regardless of what supplement you take or what herb you take or any of that, none of it matters if we're still tethered to the idea that something's broken with us, something's wrong with us, we're a burden. because that is where the autoimmune is going to be like, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Let's just keep attacking because something's wrong. We don't know what's wrong, so we're just going to make it up ourselves. And that's the autoimmune. It's attacking itself. So if we can establish harmony, and I think talking to your family and saying that you guys are welcome to have your opinions, but I don't want to hear it anymore. I need to have my life back. I know. I mean, say it the way Vani would say it, but it's like, your fear has never helped me. Your support means everything. I'm not going to do anything frivolous, but I really have to make a decision to change if I want things to change. And that means my relationships with you, making me feel precious. It doesn't work anymore because I'm afraid to live my life. Life is consuming me and I want to consume life. You know what I mean?
Really. I think I would come off as being very disrespectful to a family that's very protective and caring toward me. Like I said, I'm Indian, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem because it is the death of authenticity. It is the death of individuality. And if you can say it in a way that is respectful, if you can say, I just want to be my own person. I know you guys have been afraid most of my life, and I really don't want to live in fear anymore. It's not working. I have to go to the hospital all the time. Can we start treating me as if I'm not broken? As if there is hope, as if I could heal. Like you need them. You need them because your beliefs are tethered to your structure of life, which is through your family. They are fully, like, even though you don't have children of your own, they are your legacy, if that makes sense. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. There's great pride in your family, even despite what you've been through and what you've all experienced. Even in your mother, there's still pride.
Yes, it is a lot.
And we need to turn that into pride and protection for yourself. And the only way to create boundaries and protect yourself is to establish a new understanding. And you can call it that. You need them to trust you a bit more. How old are you, Vani?
I'm 41, but not in my family's eyes.
31?
Years old.
31?
41.
41. Okay. So, I mean, not that age matters.
Actually treats me as that, though.
Oh.
Everybody treats me like I'm one of the kids.
And that's the problem. That's a problem. They infantilize you. That's why I said precious. That's the feeling I'm getting. Even though you're incredibly intelligent, they don't honor your intelligence. They they treat you like you're immature, which is ridiculous. Yeah.
Like the only time that my opinion matches is if it's a conversation about something spiritual, because I've been in hospital for most of my teens, I tended to look into holy scriptures a lot more than most kids. So I know very in depth about it. So that's the only time my opinion is respected.
Interesting. Well, do they honor science?
My family is more, they do. However,
They need to hear it from a doctor.
Yeah.
That sucks.
The doctor said you shouldn't be doing this.
Sucks. Well, I mean, within India, you have Ayurveda. Have you gone to a practitioner of Ayurveda?
So look, they are very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Controlling.
They respect Ayurveda and aromatherapy, that sort of things. However, when it comes to illness, like my illness specifically, ain't nobody gonna let me take that stuff.
Let you?
Ain't nobody gonna let me take that stuff.
Queen, pause. I know culturally this can be really difficult, but you have to establish boundaries with your family. You are 41 years old and they need to start treating you like you have some authority over your life. It's your life, and you can respect their views, respect what they say, but the way you've been going about it, their way, isn't working. It's making things worse. They have the evidence. They have the proof.
I think, now that my dad's passed away, things have been a little bit more relaxed. Like, because now it's just been more like my sister has been making more of the decisions than uh, there has been a few. Okay, obviously there's elders that are making decisions as well, or are being involved in making decisions. But mostly my sister's been making decisions. So I think now would be the best time to be taking things like that.
Good, good. And I wouldn't suggest taking anything just yet, unless you're just talking to an Ayurvedic practitioner about ways to nourish and mucilage. Things are just going to soothe, because we need to deal with the inflammatory thoughts. Otherwise, everything else is just a bandage. And when that's an inflammatory thought, babe. Thinking that you're a burden, thinking that, your family has really? Yes. Absolutely. It's a cancerous thought. It's a decaying thought. There is nothing about that says, let's live and let's prosper. You know what I mean? And that's where life consumes you. We have to flip the script. And what I'd love for you to do is to start, if you can't yet get out of the house, and I want to find out what you're on and see if you can work with your physician to titrate down, or, to see if it's like you shouldn't be on that at all. And that's the problem. Because I remember my sister's bag of medication, and the bigger and bigger it got, the worse it got. And that's a pattern. That's not just you, baby.
Colleen will know this, but whenever I come home, I've got like Checkers and Pick n Pay bags of medication, and everybody's like, "What? How are you keeping? How do you know which ones to take in the morning and which ones to take in the night?"
Yeah.
I'm like constantly on medication. I don't even know if there's any blood left in me or if it's just medication.
Bunny, let me ask you a kind of heavy question, but I feel like it's one that needs to be asked, that you need to question. You can ponder it. But do you really feel like you're living a life that is what you want to live? Are you living life on your terms in any way?
And now I am, because I'm part of Circle.
Yes, 100%. But when it comes to your vitality and how you express it in the world, you express beautifully in Circle. But we were never meant to live in isolation. First of all, our mitochondria does not function without sunlight. So if you can start doing one thing, waking with the sun and getting outside and literally watching the sunrise, you will literally be charging your mitochondria. And then we need to talk about structured water. We need to talk about the inflammatory thoughts and also setting boundaries. Because when you protect your energy and you have your own truth, your own awareness, and your own intention on healing that no one else can permeate, they can say whatever they want, but you've already taken the power away from them, just in terms of your well-being, because you've given over your authority for too long. And it's been sacrificial in the way of, well, I've been kind of a burden most of my life, so I feel like they deserve it. No one has right to your sovereignty, Queen. No one has right to your life but you.
Oh, I feel you. But I do go out, and so I live with my grandparents as well. So they do, in the morning, they give water, or they offer water to Surya Dev. He's actually the sun.
Love it.
So they do worship to the sun, basically.
Love it.
So we do go out in the mornings and look at the sun. It's traditional.
That's good. That's good. And while you do, I want you to understand that you're being upgraded. It's really hard to feel that upgrade and to really embrace it or absorb it when you have those inflammatory thoughts. But without talking to your family or letting them know what's going on with you, we need to start shifting the story we're telling ourselves. And many, many times, because you've been treated so precious and so pure most of your life, you will, what's the word? You want to make other people comfortable for the sake of your own comfort. You would rather sacrifice your own well-being and, be like, oh, well, I've been in the hospital before. It's no big deal, over your right to live your life on your terms. And you're not.
When I get admitted, I have to send a message on our family chat, and I'm like, guys, I'm admitted, but don't worry, nobody's stressed. Everything's okay. It's not a big deal. Nobody's stressed.
Well, and here's the thing, you're not focusing on your stress or your needs or anything. You're worried about everyone else. You're always sacrificing yourself for others because you feel like you're a burden. And, here's my question. If you were 51 living the same life, would you make the same choices? Or would you finally say, I love you guys, but I can't anymore. I can't die not having had a life. Good.
I love them and I appreciate every single family member that is there for me. But I kind of am taking control. I think Logan's given me a lot of power in that, like my toxic family. I block them now.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And now we just need to rewire the toxicity that we connect to, when you're getting weak in the knees and passing out, that's not a normal thing. That's oxygen is not getting to your brain properly. And so your body isn't working the way it was designed to. So we need to look at not only the inflammatory thoughts, but the stuff you're putting in your body. We need to find out, is this causing oxygen loss? Are we depleting antioxidants, glutathione, things that power up the mitochondria, the ATP, the energy flow of it all. Like when you wake up, do you wake up tired?
If I get sleep.
Okay. So what's your sleep hygiene like? What's your relationship to sleep?
I can't function when I don't sleep. However, how to explain? Like I tend to watch a lot of TikTok videos.
Okay.
Because I can't sleep. So I sleep maybe 2 hours and then I'm awake. I wake up at 2 o'clock. I go back to sleep and then I open my eyes again. It's 3 o'clock and then so it's like not really sleep, but it's like at least my eyes are getting some rest.
Okay, so this is something that we should all know. And the fact that you're, going to the hospital regularly. And do they ask you about your sleep? Have they put you on sleep medications? Is that part of the problem?
Yes, they have. It's part of the lupus medication. I've got like so much of sleeping pills. However,
yeah,
I haven't been taking them because they make me feel so thirsty and like I feel so
drowsy. Yeah, because medicated sleep is not good sleep at all. It is knocking someone out. But we need to work on your sleep hygiene. So we need to get rid of the blue light. Once it gets dark out, no more phone, baby. No more phone. Get a book out. Like, let's pretend it's 1990 and get a book and drink some tea. Something like lemon balm should be soothing and relaxing. And because the blue light we were not meant to have after it, as soon as it turns dark, we're meant to start dimming the lights and priming ourselves for sleep. That's how we are designed. And so much of the imbalances that we experience, especially as women, is a matter of our mitochondrial function, our sleep, our sunlight, our water. And then food isn't even the first aspect of it. Everyone's always like, well, what's your diet like? Your diet is important and an integral part to the system that, alchemistic healing, but the diet isn't just the food. It's what you're consuming. It's what you're watching. It's what you're reading. And unfortunately, TikTok is not a place to scroll. It is. I watched one video the other night and I was like, oh my God, I wish I never saw that. Oh, and then I get it because I'll see a video like somebody posted, what's your most unhinged, what is it? Conspiracy theory. And I was like, I don't care. But I couldn't help but look. And then I was like, what? What? I didn't even know it about that. I'm like, I shouldn't know about any of this. I don't need this in my head. I don't need this. Especially with the cat Matlada stuff going on. I don't know any of that, thank God. But there was someone saying that what's his bucket is a serial killer, and I can't remember his name. Some country singer from back in the day. I was like, wait, what? I mean, it's just so much. And then they were talking about other theories and lizard people, and I was like, even if all of this were true, what am I gonna do about it? You know, what can I do? I can take care of myself. I can nurture my thoughts. I can remove inflammatory responses, reactions, thoughts, relationships, and I can focus on what matters, which is me and mine, you know, and protect that tribe as my bubble, which includes you guys. So, like, I don't think I've ever experienced scrolling and been like, oh, I feel so much better. I'm so glad I did that. I feel so much better. Life is amazing. Hey, you guys, the world is beautiful. Thanks. Yeah, you are too. You know, no, I get off there and I'm like, oh my God, have you seen what happens in Paris and London? And everything's just so blah, blah. And Logan's like, it's not real.
Yeah, the Philippines are having it hard right now.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, because the Philippines are also having it hard right now with all the flooding.
Venezuela, I mean, everywhere. And then you look at the government shutdown and that they're passing these bills behind closed doors, and they just apparently they lowered the age of consent to 14, you know. And I have to double check these things. But just hearing someone say that, my mind doesn't know the difference between something real and imagined. So we're being conditioned by whatever we see, even if it's bullshit. Even if it's a complete fabrication and lie, it doesn't matter. It's permeated us because we watched it, we read it, we didn't believe it, but we're also questioning, should I believe it? Is that possible? Is it true? And then we're going to look for verification, and it's so hard nowadays because you'll have one article saying, don't eat meat. Meat is poisonous. And another article saying meat is the most beneficial thing that you can eat. Don't eat vegetables. Fruit is terrible for you. We were never supposed to eat anything but fruit. You know, I mean, there's just so much. And I'm like, the universe requires balance. There's no aspect of Mother Nature or even the planets that do not require balance. And that's one reason why you're not a sign. That's one reason why when you're not a diagnosis either, you know, there is so much nuance. So I mean, I don't know what books you're reading, but I can recommend some great books. I mean, I Fix Astrology would be a great book for you to read, especially because it's over 1,000 pages. Yeah, I loved Justin's post, and then Jasmine was like, "Congratulations." I was right, and then so many people have been messaging Logan like, "Hey, do you know if my book's coming today or tomorrow? I don't want Justin to be ahead." But it's
I spend a lot of time on Replay Realm because like I'm also having a lot of memory loss, so I have to
of
like
course.
a lot of the stuff.
Vonnie, do you realize that if we can't get sleep and we're overexposed to blue light, we will have memory loss? That's not autoimmune. That's literally you're not giving your body what it needs to survive.
Damn.
You don't need it. You're not missing a mineral. You're not missing a supplement. You need sleep. You need to give yourself permission to have some sleep and to create ritual around it. So replay realm, I can talk, is great, but it's still blue light after a certain time. So once it gets dark, and this is going to be uncomfortable at first, but we have to train you to retrain your circadian rhythm. We need to understand, we need to hone in that this is for my survival. And so that I can finally thrive, I need to actually fucking sleep. And I need to get the right kind of sleep, because from about 9 to 2 is REM sleep. Sometimes they say 10 to 2. It depends. But if you're going to sleep when it's dark, by the time it's around 10 o'clock, you're going to start slipping into REM sleep. And that's just restoration for your body. The sleep from 2 on is spiritual restoration. So when people are doing spiritual walking, they're doing, deep spiritual diving, dream walking, and all that stuff, it's after 2 a.m. That's why in the Bible they say that, something about 3 a.m. The devil enters on 3 a.m. That's when people can work with the demons and all that. No, the veil is thinner because we're supposed to rejuvenate the spirit from 2 on. That's, we need to address the health of the different bodies. We are not just a body. We are also a spiritual body, a spirit that can communicate and dance and move and do so many things through sleep. Native Americans believe the most powerful time to do spiritual work is in your sleep. So you can't do any of that if you're not getting the right kind of sleep. And it's interrupted because of your circadian rhythm, because of the blue light. If you were to get yourself some glasses, like the blue light protective glasses, I'll have to post about that in Mystic Circle. I do notice a difference, but it's still not enough for sleep, for regulating your circadian rhythm once it gets dark. Once it's dark, we are literally designed to live in the cycles of nature. With the moon, with the sun, we rise with the sun and we go down with the moon. That is how it's always been done. And, we started perpetuating this idea of, grind or die, or, I have more energy at night. No, you don't. You don't. For a long time, you're going to feel like you do, but your stress hormones are through the roof. Your heart rate is the highest it is while you sleep at night. And if you're awake during that time, you're experiencing a much more bigger amount of stress, which is probably why you're waking, why you have disruptive sleep, because it's not true restorative sleep. You're still in fight or flight. So let's try an exercise. Let's try a little hack. Okay. Got some food study material for you. Oh, I love it. I mean, when it comes to food, just as Mother Nature's pharmacy is immaculate, if we're eating real food that's not in a box or a bag, we're not eating things like adulterated cornstarch or corn syrup, or if you're going to a farmer's market, you're getting fruit, you're getting meat, there is nothing better for you. It's food. And this idea that, our soil is too depleted and we don't have the right nutrients, that's a lie. That's a lie. As somebody who works with soil, one of my favorite things to do here in Texas is to amend my soil and be amazed how quickly it works. You know what you need to do to replenish the soil? Stop tilling it and simply farm. Add things into the soil that add nutrition, because again, Mother Nature is perfect. We have the balance. There's always the balance. Okay, I'll wait for the nugget, the hack. Okay, so if we want to get out of fight or flight, and this is great for you to do, Vani, everybody's going to do this right now. I'm going to do it because I find myself stressing or overthinking, and I'm supposed to be breastfeeding or putting my kids to sleep. And if my head is going, bah, 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 it's not going to work. But I might blame them and be like, what's wrong with you? Just go to sleep. I'm being quiet. No, it's energy. It's literally energy, and children are the most susceptible to it because they look to your energy to understand theirs. Aloha! So we're going to do a little hack. We're going to hack the nervous system. We're going to hack our vibe, and we're going to get out of fight or flight. We're going to slow the heart while simultaneously making it feel like we're digesting life, okay, with ease. And that's actually a really good mantra for you, or something along those lines, Vani. I digest life with ease.
Write that down.
Yeah.
I digest life with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes. I move through life effortlessly. My heart is whole. And you know how I know? Your capacity to love is a reflection of the state of your heart. There is nothing wrong with your heart. The fractured part of your heart comes from how you learned your love language. Your love language has become self-sacrificial from birth.
Damn.
But you are whole. Your heart is whole. You are taking back that piece that's been missing from your heart, which is what you need to feel whole. And it's for you. That's for you and no one else. So anytime you feel like you have to sacrifice something for someone else, no, I need that little piece. I need that piece that's been missing. And it's not, and no is a full sentence. Sacred no.
Oh man. It's a lot to think about.
Yes, but let's do the trick, because it doesn't require thinking, and that's what I love. Right? Like, can I just be stupid and not think? Yes, absolutely, because alchemistic healing honors that it shouldn't be that hard. The hard work is the unlearning and the rewriting of the story. And the mantras and the rituals and all that are designed to help you create the person that you want to be, because we can, because we are miraculous. Okay, so we are going to be using our mouths. And for those of us that are stressed, most likely you experience a tight jaw. Maybe your tongue feels thick or, grainy. Yeah, because we can transform. We can become the version of us, and it doesn't require surgery. So what we're going to do is let's loosen our tongue and our jaw, and we're going to take our tongue and lay it flat on the roof of our mouth and get close. And then we're going to take our tongue like a windshield wiper without removing it from the top, and we're going to move it side to side, back and forth, back and forth. We're essentially mimicking the actions of us eating and swallowing. And while we do that, shortly after you start, you're going to need to yawn. It's amazing. So let's move our tongues backwards and forth on the roof of our mouth like this. Oh, was anybody else yawning? Are we yawning yet? It's going to be harder for some people. And we want to make sure that we're doing it right. So the tongue goes not just behind the teeth, but behind the ridge, right on the ridge, and backwards and forth. We're essentially massaging those mucous membranes. When we digest, it all starts in the mouth. It all starts with what we consume and how we consume it. So this is a metaphor for life, and I apply it within my system.
Okay, I feel that.
Yes! Yes, the yawn is done. Yes, yawn. No, you cannot yawn if you are in fight or flight. You cannot digest if you are in fight or flight, because you're on the move. Your focus, your brain is designed to see life as a threat, or, usually it's a cheetah that we're running from, or somebody invading our village. But nowadays, and for most of us, because we live in the modern age, it's, I'm a burden, there's something wrong, or you almost have a car accident, but you didn't have a car accident, but you're thinking, oh, I could have, if I had just, and a cheetah, right? And you relive it and you relive it. And sometimes when we are in fight or flight for most of our life, we will look for ways to validate our fear and our stress. So you will find things to nitpick. You will find things to criticize. You will find things to fear. But when we come back into a state of being able to digest life and to no longer be consumed by it, you hack the system. You have all this power at your disposal. So Vani, that's a great exercise for you to do all the time. And it's free, especially at night. While you're reading, you can do that, and you're actually telling your body that it's time to relax. That's why we were always meant to eat in circles. We were always meant to eat with people and communicate and eat, because we're relaxed. We're relaxed. Yep.
Love it.
Love it.
And
Love you.
love you too, Ash. You're the most awesome person ever.
Oh, thank you,
I'm
Vani.
so grateful that I got to meet you and Logan.
I'm so grateful for you too, and I see that everything that we just talked about, I know it's a lot, but if we can apply just small things, baby steps, and honor it every day. Give yourself credit and understand that we're going to slide on old patterns. I do it all the time. And Logan's like, don't forget who you fucking are or who you want to be. I'm like, yes, okay. But sometimes I want to feel sorry for myself. Sometimes I want to be like, but da-da-da-da, and we don't let ourselves do it because that becomes the loophole into being who you were and reliving old patterns. And when it happens, though, you have to give yourself credit and just acknowledge that it's a pattern. Whenever you're feeling friction, dissonance, pain, or fear, any of that, it's an old pattern. It's an old inflammatory thought playing out. So then we have to redirect, rewrite, and re-experience life. Digest it, baby.
Lots of hard work.
Yes, but it's going to be a lot easier than climbing uphill with no shoes on and nobody at the top of the mountain or nothing. You know what I mean? You're carving.
I think the biggest issue that I'm having right now is what to eat, because I have lupus nephritis, so the renal doctors don't want me to eat certain things, and then the cardiologists don't want me to eat certain things.
Of course.
And everybody has an opinion as to what I should be eating. However, right now they've left me with basically nothing to eat.
Well, and the other problem is going to be because you have been in fight or flight, a stressed state, you're not able to digest shit. So I've talked to so many clients who are like, I'm allergic to this out of nowhere. There's more things I can't eat. I'm like, because you can't digest life, baby. Because you're stressed. Because you're not in a state to consume. You're being consumed. And that's a system that doesn't understand that. That's like, whoa, you don't have sodium and don't. First of all, our molecules, our molecular structure, our mitochondria, we need minerals. So when they tell heart patients not to have sodium, they did it to my mother. They destroy their mitochondrial function.
Yeah.
You need real sodium.
That's what they just told me today. They're like, no, cut down on the sugar, cut down on the salt. I'm like, guys,
Cut, restrict. Yeah, that's all they know. That's what they know how to do. They don't know how to say, well, most likely there's some sort of reaction in the body that certain foods, you have certain beliefs around. You know what's interesting about food allergies? They've done a ton of studies on people with multiple personalities, and one of the personalities will be allergic to strawberries. And they will anaphylactic allergic. And then another personality will be munching away because it's connected to belief. It's your relationship to the food. I have these inflammatory thoughts around wheat and sugar. And when I go get it from somewhere else, I have a hard time eating it because I don't know exactly what went into it. But when I make it at home, I don't have any inflammation because I'm usually making it with love. I'm watching my family eat it and everyone's like, oh, this is delicious. So I'm raising my vibe and it's much easier to digest.
Yeah, feel you.
So here's what I would suggest in terms of food. You need you're Indian, so food is just so freaking nourishing. So, eat what you want, but start in small dishes. If you miss curry or if you miss soup or if you miss these things and you've been told you can't have it, you cannot believe that anymore. I'm not saying go out and have a chocolate cake. That's not going to be very beneficial. I'm not saying go, drink a bunch of alcohol. But when it comes to food, we were literally designed to run off of carbohydrates. And we're teaching people that carbohydrates are evil. It's not true. It's not true at all.
Wow.
If we're not able to digest sugars, what was that?
I also have that belief that carbohydrates is the leading murderer.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's that we're not able to digest the sweets of life. If it's pure carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, fruits, I mean, there's nothing easier for us to digest. But if we have a belief wrapped around it, it's going to be hard, especially if you have people around you be like, you're eating that? Should you eat that? That's not a good idea. I mean, growing up, I was always worried about eating certain things because I was worried about gaining weight. But you're so pretty. Why would you eat that much? You might get fat. You know, it's like, oh God. And and Jordan is here. And earlier he was making a joke about fat, and it's Jordan, you know, so we're not taking him seriously, but I was like, hey, my girls don't know that word. I don't want them to know that word. You know, one day when, you know, if they're into guys, they might learn it in a good way, but I don't want them to know that in terms of what a woman or a man looks like. There's either healthy or there's unhealthy, and it expresses itself a multitude of ways. Yeah. So make yourself some food without fear. And then do the trick before you eat. Do the trick so that you know you're calm and relaxing, and you can do it in between bites. And eat your food as close to liquid as possible. Chew, 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 chew until it's nothing. I mean, I'm just like, you know, so I'm not judging.
I prefer rice because when you eat rice, it's a lot more easier to digest than bread.
Yeah, lentils would be great too, but I mean, you could even start with things like soup, things that are easier to digest. They're cooked over a long period of time, so they break down easier. You know, things like that. Things comfort foods. Make yourself some comfort foods.
Good for the kidneys.
What'd you say?
I don't even know what to eat because they said that I shouldn't be eating lentils and anything
Wow.
orange, red, or yellow. So lemons, bananas. Dude, I don't even know what to eat because
Okay.
like the heart surgeon is like, no, you should. Oh, but can I even be saying this? So he's like, no, you shouldn't be eating anything green. So if it's green, it has vitamin K in it, and if it has vitamin K in it, now I did have an experience. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of, so I went on a diet.
Of course.
It was going to be my cousin's wedding, and we were all trying to get, fit into our Indian clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I ate a whole lot of lettuce and ended up spending a month in hospital.
Was it raw? It was raw.
Yes, it was raw lettuce, and it was my replacement for bread and rice. And then I ended up in hospital for a month because
well, and it's not just the vitamin K. It's also you're stressing your system further than it already was, especially when you rely on carbohydrates to live your life. You know, if you're not in a ketogenic state, it's difficult to make that transition so drastically. That was a drastic shift, and it wasn't coming from a place of empowerment. It was coming from a place of, I need to lose weight fast, and there was urgency and there was stress around it.
You know, it's freaking thousand. It was like 10,000 rand. You gotta get into that damn thing.
Yep, I get it. There's this idea of idealism that we're supposed to look a certain way for special occasions, but it's like we destroy ourselves in the process. When it comes to vitamin K, it is one of the most essential nutrients that we use to, I mean, our liver helps produce it, you know? So when we're not able to absorb life or digest it, that makes sense. That makes sense. And lettuce, especially raw lettuce, is very hard to digest when you're already in a stress state. So if you were to take things like kale, spinach, kale would probably be best, and you cook it or you blanch it, and then you can refrigerate it. So you're taking away you're not taking away the vitamin K, but it's easier to digest. Same with rice. If you cook your rice and then you reheat it, it's much easier for you to digest it because it's minimized the resistant starch.
Feel you.
But at
the reason why they don't want us
Blood.
So I'm on blood thinners.
Yep.
So I do
Yep.
INR test every month.
Oh my God.
For me, so what happens is when you eat things that have green stuff in it, or when you eat green,
It helps your blood flow. Yeah. And thicken.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes the blood a lot more thicker, and then
Yep.
we end up in hospital trying to thin out the blood.
And the thinning out of the blood is an overcorrection, which isn't addressing anything. And blood thinners for a temporary solution or bandage, it can save lives 100%, but it's not sustainable and it causes way more problems. So there is one thing that you can implement safely once, because we want a blood builder once you. We'll talk about the other medications that you're on, because I feel like a lot of what you're experiencing is adverse effects from everything you're on.
I believe you.
Yeah. But I mean, send me the list, baby. Send me the list in Circle, and I'm sure I'm going to be like, fuck, no wonder.
I think you will be too.
Well, because nobody, like, I have clients who be like, oh, I'm on this for this. And I look it up and like, well, actually, this is what's really going on. This is what this medication is doing. And that's why you have that symptom. And then they're like, they never said anything to me about it. Why would they do that? I'm like, because they don't know another way. They believe, some of them believe they're helping, and some of them just don't know anything else. I remember when I was in the hospital with my daughter after she had her seizure, her febrile seizure, and I was just like, do you guys have any magnesium that you can give her, or vitamin C or vitamin D or something to calm her responses? Like, we need to calm the nervous system. Magnesium would be perfect. And they were like, no, but we can give her Tylenol or ibuprofen. And I'm like, you don't have magnesium in a hospital, in an emergency room? What? Where am I? This makes no sense. I mean, we have so much science behind nutrients. What'd you say?
Is it because they were just being faulty? They just didn't want to listen to you?
Probably. I mean, it's not a protocol that they apply to children. So even if they had it, which I knew they did, because they will give magnesium to women who have just given birth. To help with pain and other things, but it also causes problems with the womb shrinking, and so then they overcompensate and give them Pitocin and other things, and it's just a whole shit show. But I wasn't in the mood, and I was just like, oh God, I know so many women who are gaslit in this system, and it's criminal.
You just told me now why the doctors want me on magnesium. I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah? Well, magnesium is so important, but you need the right kind. There's so many different kinds, and people are like, oh, yeah, just take magnesium. Where there's citrate, there's not L-theanine, magnesium tritrate. What's the other one? I'm so out of it. What's the one? Magnesium hydrochloride, magnesium glycinate, citrate, magnesium hydrochloride. I mean, you do magnesium baths. You can do Epsom salt. You can do magnesium glycinate is the most bioavailable version. So, you can do citrate as well, but what'd you say?
Glycinate, I know that one.
Taurine. There we go. Wait, no, it's not taurine. Taurine isn't magnesium. When my doctor needed to prescribe mag, she had to order it outside of their pharmacy, right? It's insane. And, if you're getting muscle twitching, if you're getting, what's the word? Like cramps and that kind of stuff, you could be low in magnesium. But we have to remember this. We are low in nutrients because we're not able to digest nutrients when we're in fight or flight. So you can eat the best diet. And plenty of people do. I've had so many people say, my mother got cancer and she ate the cleanest diet. I don't understand it. If she was in stress, if she was in fight or flight, that explains it. That's why I say it's not the food. It's not the food.
Sure.
Yeah. But again, we'll talk about your meds and we'll talk about more. And then hopefully you can work with your doctor for them to titrate you off and to, offer you some freedom.
I don't think that my doctor's gonna be on board with this
Really?
more natural. Yeah, no, we still a little bit more backwards in that sense. But
Yeah.
so I don't think my doctors will be too excited about that.
Well,
However,
we can talk about what's the main problematic stuff they have you on, and if you give them the science, give them, be like, but this is the problem, this is exactly what I'm experiencing, I want to be off of this, and then you put your line in the sand and like, I mean, you can either help me with this or I will find new doctors. And you will find a doctor who will work with you, because there are doctors out there who are still healers. I truly believe that.
I will bring it to their attention because I'm gonna go and see Professor tomorrow.
Okay.
So I will bring it to his attention and see how
Let's see how it
reacts.
Let's see how it's gonna go.
Let you know in circle.
Let's look. Let's
How
look real
traumatized
quick
he
and
was.
then we'll bounce. Great Spirit, let's look at the energies of Vani talking to Professor tomorrow about the medications. Okay. Okay. You might be surprised, honey. You might be surprised. I think there's going to be this, they're going to talk to you like you might not know what you're talking about. There might be a little pushback at first, but when you're advocating for, well, this is what I'm experiencing and this medication is literally listed as one of the side effects. And I know that that's the problem because before that I took this, I didn't have that problem. So you need to have that story ready. You need to be able to advocate for yourself. That's the hardest part in this system, is you have to convince the people that are in charge of your healing that this isn't working because it's causing more problems. And, I want to be less dependent on something that's not working. The stress also it causes everything. It causes everything. Stress, your cellular experience, the unconscious and subconscious thoughts are what's feeding your stress. And when you have, I used to have acne, I used to have psoriasis, and I get inflamed with inflammatory thoughts. It's usually never the food. It's usually never the food. And many people are like, oh, you need to heal your gut. You need to heal your gut. You have to address mitochondrial function. You have to address just the basic needs of humans. What's your sleep? What's your elimination like? How are you digesting life? And it's not just about the gut. We have a brain in the head, the heart, and the gut, and they have to work cohesively. The RX keeps not going through, or the doc keeps not sending it. It's very weird. Apparently the universe is against me being on certain medication. Nice. Yeah, all these things, whenever tech doesn't work, whenever something's not coming through, you are being challenged. Right now, we have a ton of money being held by one of our payment processors because they're reevaluating so many accounts, so many businesses. And we're like, okay, it'd be really great if we had access to our money that we're watching us make it, and it's going into the account that we can't touch. And Logan and I are like, okay, this is happening for a purpose. This is happening for a purpose because he's getting outside of his fear of rocking the boat. And now he's just like, fuck it, I'm here. And here's my book, and here's what I teach, and here's the people that are having success with it. And I'm having to be like, fuck it, here's my system. I'm teaching it. I'm doing it. I'm putting it out there. And it's not motivated. It's not motivated by fear, but it's motivated by, we have to take action as a result of these blocks that are orchestrated for a purpose, not to punish you. But yeah, that's for you to decide, Teeny. That's for you to check in. Do an inventory of the things that you take and ask yourself, is any of this making me feel powerful? Is any of this helping? Or is it just sustaining my level of health? If it's just sustaining you, then you're not thriving. It's not working, So things need to be reevaluated.
Most of the medications that they've prescribed
Wow.
And it makes you feel like,
Baby girl, how are you even talking? Bonnie, that's how strong you are. No, seriously, that's how strong you are, Queen. No wonder you're falling on your ass. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. I mean, you have sensitivities and you have this belief around your health, which is going to be a problem. And I wouldn't say go off your meds ever. I wouldn't tell somebody who believes that chemo is going to heal them to not take it. I would never say that, because belief is what matters. And if you've been tethered to these medications, you can't just go off of it. It's not going to be safe. And also, we don't want to cause adverse reactions as a result of going through withdrawal, especially with Schedule 5, Queen. Damn.
it makes you feel like, I don't know, have you ever been out partying the entire night to the next day, to the next day, to the next day? It's like that. It's like you
Yeah.
don't even know how to keep yourself out.
I did E back in the day, and the next day I was 15. The next day I was like, that's how you should be right now, being on all that medication. But look at you, listen to you. Your soul, your spirit will not stop expressing itself, but you feel like your body has failed you. So there's the creation of who you want to be, and you feel like it can only be through your spirit. And we have to reclaim our body. We have to reclaim our body.
Yes, feel you.
I feel
I'm gonna
you.
do that. I'm
Okay.
actually doing that right now.
You're doing so much amazing work. You are amazing, and you need to give yourself credit. Like, I'm not here telling you that you're not doing anything. No, honor how far you've come, because it's amazing. Sounds disorienting. Yeah, absolutely. They got me on low dose naltrexone. Oh my God.
What's that?
Is that a benzo, baby? Hold on, let me see. What the hell is naltrexone? This is always fun. There's never a time when I'm like, oh, that's totally fine. Naltrexone. What the hell are you? It's a non-addictive medication primarily used to treat alcohol use disorder and opioid use disorder as a comprehensive treatment plan that includes counseling and behavior therapies. It works by blocking opioid receptors in the brain, which in turn reduces cravings and the euphoric effects of alcohol and opiates. Are you on opiates?
What's opiates?
It's a pain medication. So a lot of people started taking it because it made them feel loosey-goosey, and
Oh, is it like morphine?
it's not quite that intense, but I would say that it's like, have you ever heard of Ludes? Quaaludes? That kind of, no, they use low dose off-label for pain management. Yeah. So that purple stone in your ring. Oh, me? I love it. It's opal. It's a fire opal.
Wow. Beautiful.
Right? That was a gift from someone my mom took care of back in the day. But yeah, I mean, this again, it's turning off your natural receptors because of pain management. And that's all they can do is manage. All they can do is manage symptoms. That's what they know how to do. And it's it's a problem.
They wanted to put me on morphine, and my sister was like, hell no.
No, do not do that. Do not do that.
No. So
I'm
she
sorry.
asked them, can he not just rather take weed oil instead?
CBD.
And I was a Jehovah's Witness, so I was totally against it. I'm like, hell no, I'm going to burn in hell, homie.
It's so funny that they teach you guys that, or they teach people that, because it's literally nature. Like, it's CBD. It is amazing medicine.
And then I started it, and then it was, girl, I had the best sleep I ever had in my entire life.
CBD?
I slept like a dead person.
Yeah. But here's what we need to know about that medicine. So many people use it habitually. It was never meant to be used habitually. And that's the problem. It does not train you to do anything. It is a wonderful spiritual medication. It's a wonderful medicine for directing it spiritually or to have more euphoric experiences. But it's not something, and it can cannibalize cancer cells. And it has a wonderful application for that, especially for people who are really, really sick and in pain. But it's a temporary solution because it is very difficult to learn to live without it. And there are so many other medicines that are amazing for sleep that actually help you condition and nurture your nervous system to invite sleep. But again, none of that matters because we need to start living in cycles of nature. If you go to sleep when it's dark and you wake up when it's light, you will see a huge shift in your health and well-being. That being said, if you're on all those medications, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard at first. But working with it, what's Lamictal? Can get all the way. Oh, what did somebody say? What's Lamictal? Gosh, Lamictal. They just have so many and they keep inventing more. Lamictal is the brand name for the prescription drug lamotrigine, which is used to treat bipolar disorder and certain types of epileptic seizures. It is available in immediate release tablets, chewable. Okay, so that's major nervous system dysfunction. Are you on it for epilepsy, or what are you on Lamictal for? Lamictal. Lamictal. Yep, that's it. That's it. I'm deathly allergic to it. Oh God. Well, that makes sense. That's what some friends said. Lamictal can get all the way low dose. Here's the thing about low dose. My mother was on a low dose benzo for about 10 years and she was on the lowest possible dose and she was getting tremors and her sleep was disrupted and they were starting to think that she was bipolar. And I was like, no, something is off. This is not normal. Well, she's getting older and tremors are a side effect. No, it's not. No, I call BS. I didn't know what I know now completely at all, but I knew that wasn't right. And I was like, Ma, I bet you if you titrated off of this, your tremors would go away. Because then I started researching the drug. And I told her that she was only supposed to be on that drug for 2 weeks. And they kept her on it for 10 years. And she went through withdrawals like she was a junkie. It was so painful to watch. And because she didn't trust her doctor, she didn't trust the person anymore. So she was like, fuck it, I'm just saying no more. And I was like, Mommy, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't, she's like, well, I have to do something. They're not going to help me. And so she took it upon herself, and I would never recommend that to anyone. But she was on the lowest dose. And it was like she had been on meth for years. It was insane. And she was like that for a couple weeks. And thankfully I had CBD and I had valerian and I had other things to help. But I also think that there was a purging process of her life and very much a self-flagellation because she blamed herself for my sister unaliving herself, which I didn't know about until after my mom died. So I couldn't have offered her any absolution in her trauma or shame or blame because she never told me. But that is cancerous. And that's why the cancer came back. Because she didn't feel like she had the right to exist. Yeah, I mean, healing is so much easier when we look at ourselves as energetic beings. It's really, it's really hard within a system that just sees you as a body. They don't understand that you also have spirit. And if the spirit isn't expressing itself, if the spirit doesn't feel the right to exist, everything's a bandage solution. Yep. No, my psychiatrist had told me to take the low dose for ADHF. What is ADHF? ADHF. Just more toxic labels. Acute decompensated heart failure. Girl, a sudden worsening of symptoms of heart failure. Have you experienced heart failure? Do you have heart flutters or loss of consciousness as a result of heart issues or imbalances? Damn, baby. Damn. I mean,
Ashley, I don't envy you. You have to listen to a lot of sick people.
well, I mean, here's the thing. It can happen to any of us. It can happen to any of us when we don't have this information. And I know I can't save anyone. I can only give information and help them save themselves.
Girl, you save me every day.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, you're saving yourself too. Not ADHF. ADHD. Okay. I thought it said ADHF.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Okay, good. I was like, whoa. Okay, so I'm going to say one more thing and then I'm going to get off because I have to make dinner. But ADHD, there is no blood test. There is no real diagnostic tests to understand whether or not you have ADHD. It's all a questionnaire. They don't know what to do with you because you have a hard time focusing. So they medicate you. The problem with that is you're not actually addressing the nervous system dysfunction. There is an overcompensation from feeling like you have to distract yourself from life. That's ADHD. That's ADHD. It's not, oh, I just have to constantly be looking around and I can't focus on anything. That's survival, baby. That's survival. Your nervous system learned to look around, to distract yourself, to fixate on something else. Oh, I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it's hard for you to commit to actually existing in one spot because you're uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Many people with ADHD also have back problems, also have neck problems, also have hormonal dysfunction. They isolate you into this box of, well, you just can't focus. You just, you've had it your whole life. Yeah, of course you have, because you've learned how to exist or how to feel like you have the right to exist from a very, very early age. And they don't understand that you have to tell your story in order to deconstruct what you've been creating as your life experience, as your experience to your health. There is no one I've ever worked with who has ADHD, even autism to a certain degree, or other severe imbalances that did not have some element of trauma. And most people are like, oh no, it was nothing really big happened around that time, because then they end up in the hospital and they're like, out of nowhere, I don't know where it happened. Like, okay, what was the emotional catalyst that got you in the hospital? Well, it wasn't that big a deal. My husband left me, or, someone died, or, it's just something very traumatic. But we don't see it that way. We see it as just life happening. And for many of us, it's like, oh shit, it's been a lot. And when you stop to pause and be like, I'm amazing what I've survived, but I have this belief that there's something wrong with me. And so I continue to experience life from a place of not being able to digest it, not being able to experience it, not feeling I have the right to experience it or connect. A lot of people with ADHD have social issues. A lot of people with autism have social issues because they don't know how to function in a world that they've never felt accepted in. There's so much, but if you give yourself self-acceptance, life changes. It's insane. And we're diagnosing children with these issues and we're not looking at the parents. We're not looking at the source of their energy, which is literally their family, their parents. And we cannot blame a child. Oh, they're just crazy. They're just wild. They just don't understand. Oh, they were just born bad. Nope. Sorry, no. Anyways, yes, bullied a lot. There we go. Bullied a lot. Not feeling safe to exist. Recently caring for my dad in our property where one of our tenants sold. Oh. Flower Essence helped me direct my ADD to be productive in my creativity. No meds, all plants. Yes. And this is the miraculous thing about flower essences. There's no actual plant product. There's no actual physical representation of the plant in that medicine. It is literally the essence. It is the energy of the sun moving through that flower and put into brandy or vodka or whatever you want to use. Most Bosch and other brands use brandy, but it is an essence medicine. So as energetic beings, we need energetic medicine. Pharmaceuticals are not energetic at all. It disrupts your frequency, it disrupts the natural flow of things, and interrupts the processes that are natural within the body. It's a disruptor, and that's why it causes problems. That's why it can't heal you. Yeah.
I have ADHD as well. But that's because of my kind.
So is it ADHD or is it just your energy? Is your energy a little bit like, whoa, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this? And it can also come from a place of overcompensation. It can also come from a place of not feeling safe to sit still for very long, or to need distraction. It can come from a multitude of places, but yeah. ADHD is something they invented to make sense of, well, I don't understand why all these people can't focus anymore. You know, back in the day, no one complained of not being able to focus because no one complained. No one really complained, and they lived in the cycles of nature. More so, they ate real food. They had real experiences. There's a war on our frequency with all this technology. You want to blame the jabs, you can, but it's not just one thing. It's a multitude of things. It's never one thing. And anyone who says, it's the water, it's the this, it's the that, it's like, no, we are frequency beings, and we are being bombarded with dissonance in the field. That's why people need gardens. That's why people need spaces where they can feel free to exist and vibe higher. And that's what Logan and I are trying to create for you guys. And you're taking the baton and being like, yes, oh my God, this feels so much better, because then it becomes no frequency, no war on our frequency can actually permeate unless we're feeling in a weakened state. That's the truth of it all. Just like a food can't affect us that we're supposedly allergic to if we're not connecting to the belief that we're allergic to it. In Chernobyl, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there was a huge nuclear spill. I mean, it was just a tragedy. People were dying left and right, and it was awful. And they had to evacuate. They evacuated the entire area, except this group of farmers that had that land for generations. They stayed based on faith. Guess what? They did not die. They did not get sick, and they did not take any pills. They used their belief to survive and thrive. When I learned that, I was like, fuck. Oh my God. That confirms everything I believe. 100%. And it's not a placebo. People will say, oh, well, they're just an anomaly. Anomalies don't exist. We see people expressing their magic consciously, and we don't understand it. So we'll say it's an anomaly. Doesn't make sense. It's the energy, you know? It's the energy, 100%. Being able to understand the root of ADD, ADHD, and transforming it creates some amazing, capabilities, 100%. Yes, my ex-boyfriend had to go investigate Chernobyl. Oh, wow. Yeah, many people got sick because they viewed it, they were told, a tragedy just occurred and people are going to die if we don't do something quick. So they're going in, even with the knowledge of, okay, here's what we would do and here's how we can clean it up. They're still believing that there's something deadly happening. However, the people on their land that were not far from the trauma, from the tragedy, were not fazed one bit. Generations later, they still have healthy lineage. It doesn't make sense to science. It doesn't make any sense. They should be having kids with arms growing out of their heads. They didn't. The nuclear disaster affected my country too. Big population got issues with thyroid. Absolutely, because they also heard there's toxicity in the air. People are dying. It's a tragedy. That's why we have to be very careful with what we watch, read, or consume in social media. We're constantly being bombarded with things to be afraid of. And it's contradictory. So then you're like, I don't know what to believe. Okay, I'll just use this extreme. That makes more sense to me. But anyone who's telling you something extreme doesn't understand energy. There's the polarization of left and right and no meat, all meat, and all this other stuff. And it's all out of alignment. It's all out of balance. Yeah. Politics, medicine, everything. Anyone making a blanket statement that's on the opposite spectrum of some sort of balance is out of balance. Yeah. I watched recently a documentary about the area and how mushrooms still has high levels of radioactive. Interesting, because mushrooms can absorb it. Mushrooms are amazing for radioactive spills, oil spills, toxicity. They've been using mycelium in, was that North Carolina where they had the terrible spills with toxic chemicals that got in their water? And they're seeing amazing work because mycelium literally creates a network of intelligence that says, all right, let's just absorb it. Let's suck it in. Let's take it. And then let's move it. Let's transfer. Let's create something out of it. And then it becomes nutrients. So the idea that, oh, we're fucked. that happened, so now we have nothing to do, and everyone globbed onto the tragedy. It's not true. But whether or not the powers that be are willing to invest in what would actually heal us, there lies the rub. Yes, and different kinds of mushrooms absorb different levels. Yes, absolutely. We have this information. But a lot of people who come up with this understanding, they're like, oh, this will work. This will see certain diseases, you know, the word I can't say on social media. This will see it. And they'll call and try and make their discovery known so that it can be applied in modern science, and they'll get hung up on. Or their research will be taken, you know? I mean, they're not interested in the C word at all. It's money, it's cycling, and you become a part of that cycle. Is that why my friends told me to just eat lion's mane mushrooms instead of taking, lion's mane, psilocybin? Oh my God. Yes. I mean, mushrooms are probably one of my favorite allies on the planet. I mean, there's so many. And we're going to be going into that real soon, because last night I fleshed out the steps of my system and the language around it, because I can't just tell you guys, oh, I have a system. Energy, follow the energy. No, we need to understand how it expresses. People are like, how do you know this? And I studied Ayurveda, I studied traditional Chinese medicine, and it's all very complicated. And some of it I don't agree with. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, because that's limiting people into an energetic box of only expressing one way or this way, or, you know, and there's some sort of archaic understanding of women, especially. And they're not necessarily interested in magic or the spiritual side or the ethereal side. And so I created my system because I really feel like it's needed. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys so we can get the word out that everything is energy. Everything is energy. The trees, the ground, us. And we have to understand that we have energy, frequency, vibration. We create our cellular experience based on those three things. People talk about parasites all the time. Oh, everything is parasites. No, it's not. We are more bacteria than we are cells. But the uncomfortable thing that doesn't sell protocols, doesn't sell all these tinctures, and they're like, oh, just take zeolite. It'll get rid of the parasites. If you have an overgrowth of parasites, you have an overgrowth of parasitic, draining, debilitating, and deleting thoughts. There's a demonizing of your character, yourself, your life, and it's overtaking, because everyone has parasites. Everyone has candida. It's the overgrowth that's the problem. It's overtaking you. You're being consumed by it because you're being consumed by decaying and parasitic thoughts. It's insane. You can be exposed to a bacteria like E. coli. And if someone is doing breath work, like Wim Hof has done some amazing research and proven that he can breathe his way out of a deathly pathogen. And people are like, how? How did he even do that? Well, he must be an anomaly. No, he's not. Oxygenation is another thing. Many of us don't breathe full breaths, so we're not getting the oxygen to our body. When you're in a stress state, you breathe shallow. So breath, water, air, sun, moon, simple energy.
Powers combined. I am Captain Planet.
Yes. Yeah, Logan always talks about that. I love you guys. I have to go make dinner and nourishment for my family, and I'm excited about it. But Bonnie, you are incredible. You are incredible. I mean, you should literally be like, I don't even know, guys. But you are probably one of the most alert people I know. You're more alert than me. And you're so kind and generous. And I just want you to shift that onto yourself and how you see yourself. You know, you are powerful, strong, and you move through life effortlessly. That needs to be your new mantra. And you will see a change in how your energy expresses itself. What am I making? I'm going to be making beef. We're going to have burgers and sweet potato fries. I love to be able to shove something in the oven, and I like making burgers because it's just fun. It's easy, and I'm like, and I listen to my books on tape. Right now, I'm reading a book about werewolves and their mates, and so it's not super sexy, but it's fun, and I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. Any bacon? We had bacon earlier. Probably later. Sharp minds, others can see that as a threat. Yes. And you are a threat to a system that doesn't support you having any power if you're not an authority. Did you go to the university? Were you conditioned? I got to be careful on here. But you guys have all the power and everything that you need to heal. It's hard because we've been conditioned to believe that our organs are failing us, our heart is broken or something like that. And in actuality, it's all connected to energy. So if we can heal our energy and work with energy, like with plants and frequency and all that, I mean, it's amazing the healing that they can do by simply exposing you to certain frequencies. I mean, you do need plants. Absolutely. They're amazing allies. But healing harmony, Vani, would be a great thing for you to take again and just apply the wahs, apply the different sacred sounds throughout your day to help calm your nervous system. And also, that vibration literally feeds your cells and tells them it's time to be alive, babies. It's literally time to be alive. Sweet dreams to all. Wah, baby. Release fear, release trauma, release grief. And simultaneously give yourself love. Give that inner child love because she didn't know any better and there was nothing wrong with her. She wasn't a burden. Life was a burden upon her and she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do other than to give her sovereignty over to others who told her that she wasn't strong enough to take care of herself. And she's always been stronger than everyone else. She's stronger than everyone else. That's the truth. That's the truth. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. I love you guys. I will see you in Circle. If you're not a student, this is what I teach in Mystic Circle, as well as facilitating healing experiences, helping you activate your psychic ability, which is your divine right, and so much more. And then, of course, there's Logan's stuff, which is the astrology and the just so much more. And Circle is a great place to be. I love you guys. Vibe higher. Remember, you were made perfect. Sing it. Sing it from the mountaintops. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. How do I live? Live streaming. Okay, let's end it. End screen.